Hello and welcome to Advanced English Matura with JBs. I'm your host, Jane, and today we're diving into a topic perfect for your verbal Matura exam: extreme sports. With us is Dr. Alex, an expert in sports psychology. Welcome, Alex.
Thanks, Jane. Glad to be here. Extreme sports are definitely a hot topic, especially when it comes to understanding risk-taking behavior.
Exactly. For the Matura exam, you might be asked to argue for or against extreme sports. So let's get into it. What exactly defines an extreme sport?
Well, Jane, extreme sports, also called action or adventure sports, involve a high level of risk or danger. Think activities with speed, height, intense physical exertion, and specialized equipment. Whitewater kayaking, motocross, wingsuit flying, those kinds of things.
Okay, that paints a clear picture. Now, the big question: why do people do them? I mean, jumping out of a plane seems, well, a bit crazy to some of us.
That's the million-dollar question. Psychologists have found some interesting biological, cognitive, and personality differences between extreme sports enthusiasts and the rest of us. It's not just about being a daredevil.
Oh, interesting. Can you elaborate on those differences? What makes someone more likely to seek out that kind of thrill?
One key aspect is sensation seeking. These individuals crave novelty and intense experiences. They're less satisfied with mundane daily routines. Think of someone like Tony Hawk, the skateboarder. He was so focused on skateboarding that his grades suffered. They often bore easily, and if they don't find healthy stimulation, they might turn to things like drugs or gambling.
So it's almost like they have a higher need for excitement? Is there a biological component to this?
Potentially, yes. Risk takers might have a deficiency in dopamine-inhibiting receptors. Dopamine is linked to pleasure and reward. If you can't regulate dopamine properly, you might need a bigger adrenaline rush to feel that same level of satisfaction. They might even perceive fear differently, seeing risks as a way to push their limits.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about the thrill, but also about how their brains are wired. Does age or gender play a role?
Definitely. Young single males between 14 and 30 are the most likely to participate. Men generally have a stronger sensation-seeking tendency than women, and adolescents are naturally more curious and impulsive.
That makes sense. What about personality types? Are there any common traits among extreme sports enthusiasts?
Yes, many are extroverts, outgoing, adventurous, energetic. They're often dominant, brave, and communicative, and they can influence others. They also tend to be more relaxed and less governed by their superego, that internal sense of should.
So they're less likely to overthink the consequences? That could explain the risk-taking. What about the influence of friends and social groups?
Group dynamics are huge. People often take greater risks in groups because they get a sense of belonging and esteem. Peer pressure is a real factor, especially during adolescence. If your friends are doing it, you're more likely to join in.
Peer pressure. Definitely a key point for mature students to consider. Are there broader societal factors at play as well?
Absolutely. Cultural differences matter. Western cultures often value uncertainty and see it as a chance for self-expression. Asian cultures, on the other hand, tend to prefer established procedures and avoid risk. Parents also play a role. Kids whose parents are involved in sports are more likely to take them up. And of course, the media has amplified the awareness of extreme sports through magazines, video games, and TV channels.
The media influence is undeniable. So, to recap, it's a complex mix of personality, biology, social pressures, and cultural values that drives people to extreme sports. It's not just about being crazy.
Exactly. And understanding these factors is key to having a well-rounded argument for your Matura exam, whether you're for or against extreme sports.
Okay, Alex, let's switch gears slightly. I came across some interesting terms in my research: flow state and perceived competence. How do these relate to extreme sports?
Excellent points, Jane. Flow state is that feeling of being completely absorbed in an activity, where time seems to disappear. It's often linked to a balance between challenge and skill. Extreme sports can provide that intense focus. Perceived competence is your belief in your ability to handle a situation. The more competent you feel, the more likely you are to take on challenges.
So it's not just about the adrenaline rush, but also about mastering a skill and feeling confident in your abilities?
Precisely. And that sense of mastery can be incredibly rewarding. It's a powerful motivator for continuing to push your limits.
This is all incredibly insightful, Alex. Now, for our listeners preparing for their Matura, what are some key arguments they could use, both for and against extreme sports?
Okay, let's break it down. Arguments for extreme sports. They can foster resilience, build confidence, provide a sense of community, and offer a unique way to experience flow state. They can also be a healthy outlet for sensation-seeking behavior. Arguments against. The obvious risks of injury or death, the potential for addiction, the pressure to conform within a group, and the financial burden of specialized equipment and training.
That's a great summary. It's important to acknowledge both sides of the argument. Now, I also saw some research mentioning the link between extreme sports and mental health. Can you touch on that?
Certainly. Some studies suggest that extreme sports can be beneficial for mental well-being. The sense of accomplishment, the social connection, and the stress relief from physical exertion can all contribute positively. However, it's crucial to have a healthy mindset and not use extreme sports as a way to escape underlying issues. It's a complex relationship.
Balance is key, as with most things in life. Alex, this has been incredibly helpful. Any final thoughts for our Matura students as they prepare their argument?
Remember to consider the psychological factors we've discussed. Sensation-seeking, dopamine regulation, perceived competence. Think about the social and cultural influences. And most importantly, present a balanced and well-reasoned argument, supported by evidence. Good luck!
Excellent advice. Thanks so much, Dr. Alex, for sharing your expertise with us today. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to Advanced English Matura with JB. We hope this episode has given you some food for thought as you prepare for your verbal exam. Remember to weigh both sides of the argument, and good luck!